everybody, how you doing? It's time for another episode of Track by Track with Ringo Starr. And Track by Track with Ringo Starr is a bit of a misnomer because we don't really go by track anymore. I tried that on the first two albums and it wasn't really working. But we just take the parts of the album that I think Ringo did something cool and we talk about them or demonstrate them or both, as we will today. And this is Rubber Soul today. Rubber Soul we're talking about. This is what I call part of the Beatles' transitional albums. And this album really brings out their Bob Dylan fanboy, right? I mean, there's a lot of Dylan-esque stuff on here. There was a little bit on Beatles for Sale and a lot more on Help. And then here, you've got Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle My Belle, Girl, I'm Looking Through You. All of that has a real kind of Dylan vibe to it. So the album is very folky. Rubber Soul, make sure I'm holding it up. I'll keep a picture somewhere here. But even within this album, there are some cool things that Ringo ends up doing, particularly on 3 tunes. And we're going to talk about those 3 tunes. And as you know, the album to follow this one was Revolver, and that's where they really spent a lot of time in the studio having fun, pushing the buttons. And I think this album sort of begins that. It sort of begins that idea of let's have fun pushing the buttons, and then, shortly after that, after Revolver, they didn't tour anymore. But on this album, there are 3 tunes that, well, Ringo not only does some cool stuff, but one is just so covered on YouTube with a little problem in it. So let's go track by track. We're talking about 3 particular tracks. First, let's talk about In My Life. In My Life, the groove that Ringo does on that, even Drumeo mentions how cool of a groove it is, and it is a very cool groove. However, In My Life, the groove he uses, I cannot give Ringo the credit for creating the groove. We tell the truth on this channel. That groove is from Arthur Anderson's Anna, Go With Him, which they did on their first album. And that is exactly the same groove that is on the Arthur Alexander recording. That is a black Southern R&B groove. What Ringo gets the credit for is using it on In My Life. Let me show it to you with my counterpart, my alter ego, in the drum lab. Take it away. Very cool groove. And using that very linear use of the hi-hat. See, linear in our mind, we think of this crazy paradiddle thing, but it's not. That beat that's in My Life, that was in the Arthur Alexander's Anna Go With Him, and that Ringo also did on the very first album, is linear. Linear. Ringo Starr. You know what I mean? So, okay. The next tune is You Won't See Me. You Won't See Me. 3rd tune on the album. So Ringo does this little 3-stroke ruff on the hi-hat and a 4. And a 4. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Slow and then quick. And I think it's interesting because you didn't really hear guys doing that kind of thing in that time period. I'm stepping on my album cover here. Yes, I collect vinyl. I'm a nerd. You didn't really hear guys doing that kind of thing. You didn't really hear that till much later. Like Stuart Copeland did that kind of thing where you don't play 4. And he might have played 4 on the snare. He might have. It might have been an overdub. It could have been. It's hard to tell in the mix. This is a Parlophone stereo mix. Not the greatest mix I've ever heard. But let me demonstrate this for you. So this is You Won't See Me. Check it out. First, slow. Now, up to tempo. All right. finally, what the crux of this whole video is about is Drive My Car. The intro to Drive My Car, there are a cajillion videos for guitar players in how to play that. Because rhythmically, it's kind of a weird thing. And I'll get more into it in a second in the laboratory, but it starts on the end of 4. But Ringo comes in on what would be B3. And it's kind of like, you know, rock and roll from Led Zeppelin, where if you don't know that rock and roll from Led Zeppelin starts on the end of 3, it's going to throw you off and screw you up. If you don't know that this starts on the end of 4, it's going to screw you up. But even if you do, it screws you up. And I got a hack for you, so whenever you have intros or breaks that have that weird kind of where they started, what they're doing, we don't know, a way that you can do it and always play the gig right. So let me take you to our drum laboratory here at the Drum Mission Studios, which looks a lot like my apartment. Anyway, let's go to the drum laboratory now with the intro and my hack for Drive My Car. Alright guys, let's talk about Drive My Car, the intro. Alright, I know you guys hate this, and I'll put timestamps so you can go right to the hack that I'm going to show you, but I gotta tell you the story, because it's kind of how I came up with the hack for a bunch of songs that are like this. Alright, first off, when I was a kid, I played Drive My Car with the record, and I did it in my room, and I just copied what Ringo did, and I just kind of felt where Ringo put it. I wasn't counting it through or anything, and I just did it by feel. That was back when I was 15, 16, something like that, and then I just didn't play it anymore. It never came up, never had to play it really. And now let's fast forward, whatever, 35 years, whatever it was when I got the first call. And when you are a gigging musician, that's what this channel is about. The nuts and bolts of playing. A lot of times you're filling in for guys that got sick or something, and you've never met that band before. So you want to be on their call list for when something goes wrong and you got to fill in, because it keeps your schedule full. Somebody's always calling you. And for a little while, I had a really great career, and I've mentioned before, I've toured nationally and all that stuff. And even when I was with Carnival Cruise Lines, I don't know. I had a gift for learning stuff quickly because of some of these methods I came up with, and I ended up doing relief. I was one of the only relief guys they had for 2 years. Ship to ship. Somebody got sick, I went. Somebody got fired, I went. All right, Drive My Car. Whatever, 30 years later, after the first time I usually played when I was a kid, I get a call, and I come to my practice room, and as is my habit, I get a call to play with a band that I've never met the guys. Whatever songs are on their set list that maybe I haven't played in a while, maybe I've never played them, I'm going to go through them, at least play them through. And at least, maybe not the whole tune, but at least I'm going to go through the starts and the stops so that I kind of have a feel for it, right? And then trust my instincts and stuff like that. Anyway, I get to Drive My Car, and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be easy because I did it when I was a kid. And I play through the intro, and I screw it up. And I play again, and I screw it up. And I do it again, and I screw it up. And so, YouTube was still around, so it couldn't have been that long ago that this happened. I went to YouTube, and I typed in intro to Drive My Car, and up came 90 cajillion YouTube videos on the intro, the guitar intro of Drive My Car, of guitar teachers explaining rhythmically why people have a hard time getting it. So I listened to it and I go, oh, Drive My Car starts on the end of 4. I'll get it now. I go back to my room and I try to count it as I'm practicing. I can't do it. My head will not convert. Will not convert over. I couldn't get it to happen. I kept messing it up. Or I would get it right 50% of the times. That wouldn't be good enough because it was like a Wednesday and I had to play it on Saturday. So I came up with this hack. First, there's 3 or 4 possibilities you can do. You can try to learn it by feel, go over it and over it and over it and over till you got it. Well, that could work if you have the time. But if it's a Wednesday, you're going to play on Saturday, you might not have the time. 2, you can try to relearn it as the and of 4, or whatever lick you're trying to learn. Relearn it the right way. Again, that's unlearning and relearning. You may not have the time. 3rd, and this is not my choice almost ever, although I have done it occasionally when I know the guy. Sometimes I get a call from a band, and they know me and they know my reputation, and I've said this to a guitar player before. Would you mind counting that out, because the intro's kind of tricky? If I know the guitar player, I will do that. But if I don't know them, I want to be like a miracle worker, like Scotty says.
Mr. Scott, have you always multiplied your repair estimates by a factor of 4?
Certainly, sir. How else can I keep my reputation as a miracle worker?
All right, you know I got to throw something in somewhere. And anyway, I've had this said to me more than once. Oh man, you're the only sub who gets that song right. Or hey man, even our regular drummer never gets that song right. Wow. And then I go to their first call list. Their drummer can't make it, I'm the first one they call. And that's what you want to be if you want to fill your schedule. That's what you want to be if you want to fill your schedule. The intro to Driving My Car is in 4/4. It is 2 bars of 4 with an 8th note pickup. So the 2 bars of 4 are 16 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Plus the 8th note pickup, that's 17 notes. Ha ha! You with me? Yeah, well now I could count to 17 and come in, but that's going to be a little weird. And what does Ringo come in? When does he come in? He comes in, if I were to count the two bars straight away, he comes in on the second bar, beats 3 and 4, and he does this. 3 and 3. And I'm not even sure if that's the exact fill he does, but he does something like that. 3 and a 4 and he plays the last 4 8th notes. So now I need to count 13 8th notes, 14, 15, 16, 17 are mine. And then I got 1, the band's in. But counting to 13 is going to be too weird. But you can count the melodic phrases. And the melodic phrases in that particular piece, that guitar lick is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you count it like that, I'm gonna count it with slow motion music in a second, but you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't play the fill right, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got 1. So let's count it with the Beatles tune playing slow, because I got hit with a copyright thing a couple weeks ago with Billy Joel. I don't want to get hit with another one. So I'll have it on slow speed, but that'll help you. I'm counting the phrases. Now, even if you hear the phrases differently than I do, count it the way you hear them. Because even if you miss the first note or the first couple, you can catch up to the phrases you're in and still nail those last 4 8th notes. All right, I'll be right back. I'll set everything up and let's do it. Alright, I got the headphones. I'm going to sing this into my snare mic. So, not sing it, talk it into my snare mic so you can hear me do it. It'll be going on slow speed. I'm not going to add the fill just yet. My hands are too full. But maybe we'll try, we'll put it down, we'll see how it goes. So here we go. This is how I hear it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, with the recording now. I'll try to do the fill nice and slow. So by counting that in phrases, I'm able to internalize it, feel it, and play it more like a melodic piece as opposed to holding on for dear life. All right, guys, that's what you want to do. Make them think you're a miracle worker. All right, let me just sing it in tempo. I'm not going to use this now. We're just going to do this straight ahead. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Make them think like Scotty says.
How else can I keep my reputation as a miracle worker?
Your reputation is secure, Scotty.
See you on the next one.